Good morning, everybody. This is the Friday after Happy Deepavali. Happy Deepavali to our fellow Hindu friends. I hope you have an enjoyable festive season. And of course, for everybody else, I do hope that you had a good break and definitely come back recharged. Wow, the market is heading higher with the except of maybe the Malaysian market. But let's turn into our headline this morning and look at some of the important news that currently continue to dominate the news headline. Now let's look at what we have for you this morning, and definitely our market, if you look from the chart wise, the KLCI just above me, you can go over to website tradevsa.com. The continued struggle, the market to stay above the level. We did have the 2-bar reversal coming on, and last night we have the US market rallying. But our market this morning, let's check it out. This morning in here we are down, we're still down another 2 points at 1528. What's really dragging this down is the continuing of the rubber glove sell-off, which have dominated the news headline. I think one of them was definitely Top Glove, being the realized, what we call the unrealized paper losses that they made when they did the share buyback in here. But other than that, some stocks are recovering in here. You can see there is a fair mix of pink color and also green color, means they are within a certain range. You can just zoom up in here and just tell you the higher selling or the higher buying, which is dominated by the color in here. And of course, on top of me here, not to forget, is the foreign fund outflows that we've seen in here, right? So the foreign fund outflow, that tells you they are not that favorable right now. And of course, for those of you who will check out our new 360 dashboard, which we will launch tomorrow morning, make sure you join us again. It's almost the same time, 11 o'clock in the morning. I know many of you will be out in shopping or whatever, or maybe outstation with a holiday with your family friend. But if you do have a safe travel in here, but you can still catch us on our live Facebook at Martin TF Wong in here. That is continue to plague our market, and of course we do have some great winners if you have picked them again on top of the green pentagon. Always, right, have some sort of a plan in here and definitely back test it to your satisfaction to understand that the green pentagon will work in your favor as you continue to forward test or following me over here. Now let's look at the news headline that we have for you so far this morning in here. And of course, today is Friday. We'll be looking at premium alert. This is generally for those who want to trade intraday on the hourly chart. Definitely you want to use the trading view on an hourly chart basis, or at least the lowest time frame is the half an hour chart, and do upgrade to the trading view plugin for all benefits too in here. All right. Now, of course, the news headline we have this morning is the pent-up demand that was picked up by Star Business about the commodity rises in here. But I just want to draw your attention, the audience especially, which I've talked about in here, is the what we call the jump in demand after the 1918 Spanish flu. Okay, it's Spanish flu and not the other one. Okay, so the 1918 was the time where the uncertainty that we have, which we also experiencing now in 2020, was the COVID-19. So that was almost 100 years later, but the pent-up demand and the jump was a 45%. Although economists are saying, look, with all this, the growth will not be abnormal, will be still reasonable, moderate short-term boost. Now, why is this important? Is because as the economy are opening, we are seeing a lot of global commodity prices. We are seeing petrol is going up. Next one you'll be hearing is also paper going up, timber is going up, lumber is going up, and also metals, as the transition that we have currently from the energy, which is the crude oil, to the sustainable, which is the clean climate or clean energy, which is the battery one. We are seeing that transition, and all this transition, like it or not, will be costly too, and that's why we are seeing a lot of this demand. Definitely there's a lot of opportunity if you are able to pivot over your investment or your trade idea or your sector towards this. And this has always been part and parcel what I'll be talking about on the November 15 and 16 wealth building roadmap. So make sure you join me on that day. All right. Now going next is what we just talked about of the demand that we're seeing in the pent up demand. So a local stock in here is NTPM, stand for Nibung Tebal Paper Manufacturing, somewhere in Seberang Perai, or Nibung Tebal after all, it's always there. So if you look from this chart wise, let's switch over to Nibung Tebal in here to SMARTRobie. Right, you would seen that they are they are keeping up with the cost in here. Now Nibung Tebal, like it or not, has always been very great dividend player. So NTPM, okay, and then you switch on to stock chart, stock comment here, and you could see this chart. If you pinch it up a bit, then you can see the stock, it's still holding up at 51 cents in here. Okay, so the rising cost is a concern, as the chairman and director Lee Sin-jing told Star Business that the pulp prices rose $700 per ton from previously 470 from December, just in a period of about 11 months. Paper has gone up and they continue to. So that can be seen as a two-way. Either they raise their price because people still need to use paper products, toilet papers, and also kitchen towels, things like that. So, but let's take a look at, but the chart hasn't made the kind of run that we've seen in the technology stock. And how do you know that? You just need to go over to SMARTRobie at the hot sectors, and you can definitely see, or even switch back to the main here, and you can look at the sectors under here. You could see right now the hot sectors on your right hand side is number 1 technology, and number 2 is property. Align yourself with this, and then you will be pivoting in the right way. A lot of people, time to time again, they don't know how to. It's because they're listening to stock tips and here, which have no basis why they are there. But you should always try to pivot to the hot sectors, because there's generally enough news, enough momentum, and enough institutional as well as smart money. Now take note, smart money usually distribute on high volume and on good news. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now also let's look at the next news that we have. No, let's switch back to SMARTRobie in here, and just now we are talking about dividend. Okay, so hit on to stock fundamentals, and you can see stock fundamentals here, it's giving a 4.8% return, a 4.8% return on a sector which is giving to, and it is 6 out of 8. It is an undervalued stock. Having said that, with a rate PE of 8 times, because it is seen that this kind of stocks cannot grow, but yet the ROE is growing at 12%. So it is definitely a cash generating income, being in the what we call a boring sector, but definitely an important sector. This stocks has been sort of range bound for some time around in here. Target price for PE of 10.5 times is 60 cents. So that is another 18%. Provided there is some stimulus that goes into sort of kicking this, some sort of theme where they go on either the cryptocurrency or the EV, else you are likely to see NTPM to be in this. This has always been the what we call the corporate strategy. If you want to push up your stock prices, you need to learn how to spin the kind of theme. And we have seen also previously Hatton Land, a public listed company in Singapore, decided to spin into crypto mining, and you could see that stock has really moved up seen in here. So it's just matter of whether they can know how to spin the sectors and the new area they're going in. If they do, you will definitely see stock price going up higher in here. All right, let's move on to the next sector. Okay, is a Dialog. Now early on, Dialog are benefiting from the energy. Now remember, Dialog is a storage, which is usually what we call the upstream, mid upstream. So the mid upstream where they will do storage of all the crude oil in here. So they're able to secure a 248 million EPCC, stand for engineering, procurement, construction and commissioning of the titanium nitrate butadiene latex outside of the battery limit facility project for Pengerang in Johor. Okay, so on that they expect it to complete by the second quarter of 2023. Has no any effect on shareholders, but it will contribute positive to the earnings and net asset for 30th of June. So Dialog, let's take a look at Dialog this morning in here for its news. And check it out here. So we click on Dialog and we click on here, and you will definitely see that I forgot the G. Okay, hit Dialog and hit the stock chart, stock comment, and you can see Dialog also has fall very nicely in line with edge. No doubt there was profit taking, and remember we have the sell off that we have early on. So right now there is a spring holding up at 2 ringgit 80 cent, and of course just wait for the next green pentagon to go in. And let's take a look at the stock price. You want to look at live stock prices will be, it's down minus 1.1%. Again, the bearish sentiment continue to plague our market in here. All right, let's move on to the next news, which is Jinhin, right, on infrastructure project. Now do take note, this was one of the stocks that we pick up earlier on 2 weeks ago, and we did have a limit up, all right, on that stock. So for those of you who took advantage, or even what we call a paper trade, and congratulations in here, because then you will be in a very nice trade. And let me just show you in here, that was on the 22nd of October before the big major move. That's the one that we spotted just right here. Yeah, that's the one. And then since it's going up, because they do know something, so that's why sometimes when we see the volume coming up, we need to do it. But a lot of time, especially in bearish market. But this is riding on the so-called projects that looking at contribution from SolarWare, Signature International, and Jinhin Property Group. So public investments they have lifted Financial Group 2023 for average of 19%, because they are looking to contribute better to the infrastructure project in here. So the stock price call is 192, all right, from the Public Invest Research. So you can see right now Jinhin is already being covered, and it already hit 2 ringgit and 20 cents. So that's not much of an upside coming from here onwards. Also take note about this, and that's only very little bit. So seems to be neutral call so far, and at 192, so there's not much of an upside. Even if you were to buy these shares, you can see from the volume inside, it's likely to come back down in here. If you do bought it at that time, learn to take some profit in here. And of course, this kind of news, good news, usually you will see this stock prices will continue to fall, okay, at 194, which is in line with what we see on the screen here of the target price of 192. Okay. Now going into the US side, which is a bit more exciting. Having said that, the US are hitting record high, and despite the US FOMC meeting that was done, inflation is still up. We do have the bond tapering. I think they will reduce by 15 billion from the usual 120 billion. That's what I've been getting it. But like it or not, the US Dow Jones took it very, very easily. Now, a lot been said about the inflation and also the tapering in here, but somehow, as I said before, when the market don't react to it, the news tend to change. Now, I do ask the audience here, which one reacts to it? Does the price react to the news, or the news react to the price? In many cases, you will see when the price does not justify the events, they will change the news. So because news are made by men, okay? News are made by people. So in this round, we can see after the US FOMC 2nd and 3rd November meeting, where they talk about tapering, and usually when they do bond tapering, which is likely the interest rate will likely to go higher. Right now, we have the 10-year interest rate continue to drop, but the inflation is going up. So there is what we call a dysfunctional relationship between them there, and yet market continue to rally. I do think that this November rally will continue to December and a little bit pushing it into January. This is the time that the US market, it's always a good time to buy, and this is a time that you all should be fully loaded up on the US market. If not, just go over to our plugin and check out the seasonality, and of course that would definitely be evidence showing to you these plugins is true. It has been running this trend for the last 10-15 years. Now look back on those November month that you have in the past. All right, if you can remember, recall them, check your records. What were your feeling and what were your performance during the November last year and the year before? You will definitely notice this is one of those favorable time in here. And of course, let's switch over to the S&P 500 here, switching to a wider chart. And you can see in the US S&P 500 Robie chart, and here you could see the continuation of the uptrend of the green pentagon. Whenever green pentagon green, and this market is just kaboom going higher and higher. Of course, many of you who are unskilled and untrained will saying that, hey, this market in here too high to buy lah. Yes. Remember November month, that's what I said before earlier on. October was the month to get in, and actually I got in just before it turned green pentagon. I got hold of some very good American shares. You all know US market, just buy a bit of Apple and bought it around 140. I think now it's 150. Couple of more of those stocks which I've already talked about. Also in our master class, I think you have already made a very decent 10% in the last 10 months. Sorry, in the last just before on the green pentagon and all those stocks. Remember, for our masterclass member in here, look at those portfolio lists that I talk about in here. You will definitely benefit from this rally that we see in the US market in here. I do hope a lot more people would move to the diversified out to the US market, and then that way your wealth building will be more stabilized than it is. But after all, you can always use SMARTRobie to check out all this. Having said that, you can see last night we do have a heavy volume, and Nvidia was one of those stocks, and Ford was very active. Nvidia last night closed up about 12%, 12% in here off because of this little news. This little news that we talk about is the cryptocurrency. And like it or not, ever since China banned cryptocurrency, and that has been a blessing for the US market. A lot of the mining shares, which is Sharia compliance, I was told many of them Sharia compliance, so do take a look at them. But I will talk about all those compliance shares on our wealth building on the 15th and 16th, so make sure you check it out on that one. So the cryptocurrency has been embedded in the US market, so a lot of time when you buy certain shares in US, it already has exposure to the US. And this is one of that. First was the changing of the Facebook name to the Metaverse. So there are a lot of stocks in here, like Microsoft, Roblox, and Unity, Google, and Nvidia, and that's why Nvidia stock jump up in here. You can do a lot of research in here, but definitely this is one of those sectors you cannot ignore. As such, I even told our members we are coming out with a cryptocurrency Pentagon guide, which allows you to buy intraday and benefit using the local brokerage, which is Luno, recognized by the Securities Commission. Timing is very important, so you want to use charting for timing in the cryptocurrency. And definitely when you subscribe to our wealth building 15 and 16, you will get hold of our cryptocurrency Pentagon guide, which we currently right now we are testing it on an intraday basis as well as a daily basis, which very accurate reflected in the stocks. So very similar what you see in the green pentagon on the stocks, it's also what you see on the cryptocurrency. So really one of the great benefit is that one educational package can enable you to tap into the next growing market, which is the cryptocurrency. Now also on the Singapore side, the green pentagon has come out already for Park Live REITs in here. And if you check out the Singapore side, now let's switch over to the Singapore side here, SGX and Robie chart here. So in here you can see ever since the green pentagon, the market continued to go higher and higher. Great one for those of you who continue to run your profit. And one of the stocks to watch for was Parkway Life. And of course you can always check out the chart here. You can see the Singapore market is up 21 points, okay, 21 points this morning in here, while our market continued to really struggle. And we all know even foreign funds, it's also leaving that. And you can see here Hatton Land is one of those very active shares which I talked about earlier on. If you click on PEHO1, that's the stocks that actually flew up because of that's where you can see the market just gangbang and push up. And I do think that one of the corporate spinning a lot of the Malaysian stocks is those who don't do well will go into the crypto space. So they will buy some N miner in there and they will do some sort of announcement. Some of these will be very dodgy, having said that, but it is an avenue as people are struggling to make income. So just like what everybody got into the rubber glove, all right, previously, like the property were really struggling, they were gone to cryptocurrency, and many of those will probably joint venture with a smaller IT company. So look out for those IT company in public listed in there, and they will joint venture in there, and they will get them to probably do some sort of cryptocurrency and join in here. And you can see some of these stocks will have this one bar straight up. And this is usually what I've seen before over time and time being so long in this industry. Okay, so that's something food for thought in here. All right, let's move on to the next story that we have for you is the leaderboard. Previously we have Chin Hin, which we pick up on the 22nd of October. That's a good one in here. And SCGM, okay, that was the pick that we did last week. And let's take a look at that. Now this was Southern Cable on infrastructure. Unfortunately, the market on the 29, okay, did hit a double top. As soon as it hit a double top, it continued to sell off. You can see this volume here, the two spike of the volume and the upthrust. Usually when you see upthrust, the market will sell down, and that's always the case in here. Unfortunately, that was the part that we want to minimize as much as possible. Try to buy on a lower volume, and you see climatic volume like this, the market could not go higher. So this is also one of those lessons in here. But this way we will take another strategy, right, to look at another stock, which is the HH Group. All right, HH Group on the 5th of November will be our stock pick for our stock trade idea for episode 135. All right, so let's shift over to HH Group. Heng Huat Resources. You can see Heng Huat Resources picking up from a low base, lots of what we call accumulation. Breakout on the green pentagon here. You can see this was a green pentagon, and the market lifting up. Volume is not so heavy, and if you switch on to hourly chart here, you can see market is slowly picking up. That's a nice one in here, and that's what we want to do. So less volume here. Then we're going to bring on the let me just make this a bit smaller, and okay, so that's fine. And I'm going to switch back to auto. So we're going to bring out our trading plan for advance. So remember, this is the, okay, so here we go. We have a very similar one. Let's look at the weekly chart. So you can see weekly chart, it's haven't turned yet. You can see the trend is still down, and that's why you need the auto trend line for this to plop it down in here. So weekly chart is down, yellow trend zone. Okay, yellow trend zone means it's still down in here, hasn't turned up in yet, and that's why we are showing you this market going down. Weekly chart is trending down, and let's look at the daily chart. Daily chart has turned green pentagon. Okay, green pentagon on daily chart. And what's the date? You can look back. The date was on the 2nd of November. Okay, 2nd of November 2221. All right, so let's 2221. So let's switch over to hourly chart. You want to check out the hourly chart. Hourly chart also turned on the, actually hourly chart turns on the 29th. You can see the momentum already started to move up. Okay, so you can see hourly chart, okay, momentum started on 29th of October. Okay, so that's a good one in here, around 59 cents to 62 cents. If you got in around here and you just do this, that's already at 6% in the money already. Okay, next week definitely will come back. Important price level. So let's look at the important price level, and we can go back to KLSE here, and we put HH Group. And we'll look at the trading plan. And so far we can see there is earnings on the 27th. R1 is 63 cents and R2 is 71 cents. Okay, so important price level is 63 cents. We are almost there. You can see 63 cents already touch 63 cents. R3, R1 at 63 cents. Okay, touch already, hit and then R2 is 0.715 cents. Okay, why is the market moving higher? We can see right, the climatic volume not here yet. Okay, so climatic volume is not here yet, like just like we saw just now. SCGM has two double top with enough trust, and you have that climatic volume, and that's why the market turned down. Remember, smart money uses climatic volume to distribute. All right, climatic volume is not low yet. Let's look at the low volume support. So in the low volume support, we usually use the exit strategy. Okay, so exit strategy in here we can see S1 16%. S we'll use 55 cents. This is a much better one. 55 cents, low 0.55. That is a weekly support, right? Weekly support in here. High resistance, of course, we can go to the R2. Okay, R2 at 0.715. Okay, and let's take a look at the trending period. If you notice, the last round, this stocks, interesting enough, is that when they hit one big cloud. Okay, let's switch to an hourly chart here, and we can see if we do have any longer trend. It has been coming down fair bit in here, but right now it's picking up speed to, you can see here to here. Okay, we're talking about 5 days. So 5 days, and here 5 days. All right, so it's 7 days in here. So let's put another 5 days. Okay, so 5 days only. So we want to see 5 days from here onwards to rally, which means to next Friday. If it doesn't rally, we want to be exiting this trade, because this is intraday trade and this is for advanced trader. Now, if you're advanced trader, this is something you want to keep an eye on and watch out. And who knows, maybe we have something like Jinhin rather than SCGM Berhad. All right. Okay, so we'll save this, and of course next week we'll come back and look at this again. Okay, so for the next segment that we're going to turn our attention to is the update on the portfolio in here, as we continue to find new methodologies, new wealth building tools, like we talk about the cryptocurrency, which we've seen is a trend coming in here. It's always good to move with the trend, and we continue to invest in tools and in the community, where we get a lot of support also from our members on things they like to do too. All right, because we need to grow where the market is, where the opportunity is. And of course, our Pentagon guided portfolio last year was a very good year, 106% return, and so far we are about 13.2% return from January to November. We are holding on nicely in here for 13.2% in here, and you can see Inari, Pestec, TN Logistic all continue to hold its level, with all green positive, contributing a decent 8% return to our market in here. So we want to, hopefully we can push up to maybe year end. We got still November and December, so let's keep an eye on this real money, real time tracking of our Pentagon guided portfolio trading strategies in here. And some of these rules we already disclosed during our Zoom meeting in here. If not, you can check it out again in our venture. So this tomorrow morning, join me at 11 a.m. when we'll roll out our Trade VSA Trader Dashboard. That's right, 11 a.m. on a live Facebook. I'm be showing you some of the benefits using the Trade VSA 360 in here. Of course, for our members, it's all the free new upgrades. And for those of you who are new, you can sign up for our wealth building roadmap in here, and you have a 3-month plug-in usage of our Trade VSA 360 dashboard in here, plus a host of lot more in here. And of course, with the end in mind that we are knowing, as I said before, the November, December is going, we'll be using the Trade VSA 360 plus the Pentagon Guider, all the system in here to look for shares cryptocurrency in both in the US market, Malaysian market, to prepare for us for year-end rally. So make sure you join me next Wednesday at 9:30 in here, okay, on the 10th of November for more intake on this one. And of course, for our existing member, join us for our Trade VSA, Trade with Trade VSA. Submit the stocks that you pick up from a screener in here, and let us know why you choose this stock, and put it into Trade VSA Google review, and you stand a chance to win a 30 ringgit Grab food voucher, and this winner will go into a final draw of getting an iPad. That's right, an iPad, and that will be on the 13th of January. So make sure you do that. For members, you get a chance to doing this. All right, so let's move on to the 15th and 16th of November. So for our existing member, we do hope that you can refer to colleagues and friends who will be interested to build their wealth. If you didn't miss it, or you miss it entirely in 2021, this is the time to take that plunge and come into our 2022 wealth building roadmap on the 15th and 16th of November. All right, so that will be the 2-day seminar in here. And also don't forget to join our Telegram chat room for all stock market information in here, and you have a chance to make more wealth in the coming 2020. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not done so, for all our video and all our archive up there. Okay, so right now we're going to be doing the stock review for our members and also to the public. If you're public, please state your profession in here, and you get 1 stock review. For top fans and share, you get 3, and for our members you get unlimited in here. And don't forget, also go over to our Google Play Store and Apple Play Store to give us a review on our SMARTRobie in here. So I'll be looking at your stocks that you have. Okay, Elvin has a question in here. So Elvin, you need to let me know what is your profession, then I would probably answer you. Okay. Okay, if there's no stocks, we're going to be okay, here we have Sue here, which is a housewife, and he want me to look at POW, of course. Okay, let's take a look. PAOS. Okay, if we look from a daily chart, POW has hit up. It is currently at low volume. It's on low volume, what we call accumulation. So the uptrend, you can see here we have a distribution in here. There's a lot of resistance in here. So right now the stock's not going anywhere. It's just going to move sideways and it's going to go down. Of course, we need to check out whether POW is any of those what we call, go over the symbols. It's a household product, personal care. It's not a technology in here. And if you look at the industrial, it hasn't moved yet. So very likely this will tend to the move to the side. What is your trading plan? As I'm asking in here, what's your goal here? All right, if you have bought in during the green pentagon, if it doesn't move up, what is your plan? Do you have a stop loss? If the market's not doing anything, what is your plan? You need to have those plans. If you don't have those plans, at least get some sort of a coaching or mentoring from someone or some classes in here that will put you in the head. Remember, as I said before, November, December, there's a lot of good opportunity in here. If the stock doesn't move, what would you want to do? That's very, very important. We have Hong Lee here, a retiree. Okay, I will attend to. Okay, we have here Elvin is asking on EV sectors generally going to be very expensive, just like all growth stock. Look at Tesla, which is about 700 over PE, right? And yet it's continuing to go up. So my question is, go back to what is your investing horizon? What is your investing strategy? Do you want, as I said before, if you have joined some of our Zoom section workshop that I talk about Sumu in the last 2 Saturdays in here, I talk about the long-term value investing. I talk about the EV. As I said before, you want to buy certain shares that will have growth, and definitely growth PE is going to be very high. Just like you want to buy Proton car, or you want to buy what we call a slightly upper class Lexus. Right now, Lexus is not going to be cheap. Proton is cheaper. So depending, if you think that Proton is suitable for you, then you buy a value shares, which we talked about just now, right? NTPM. Now remember, NTPM is rated 6 out of 8, so it pays a 4% dividend. If you buy those shares, likelihood you get dividend, but the stock may not go up. But if you buy shares that has growth, like KGB, which I talked about on Wednesday, remember? If you join me, if not, just go over to YouTube and watch the Budget 2022 for those stocks that I talk about, right? And those stocks are, some of those are in technology sectors. I hope that will give you some sort of view where I stand. Okay, we got Hong Lee here on VS. Okay, VS unfortunately got green pentagon, but here we have another huge selling in here. We have to be a bit, how do you say, a bit careful on this one. Usually when you get green pentagon, you normally have a follow through in here. That also tells you there's a lot of seller coming in, but we have to wait for the end of the day. Again, make sure you switch to a real-time chart like this, then you can see this. If you're going on SMARTRobie, you have to wait until tomorrow. So that's really one of the benefits of subscribing in here. And I do think Hong Lee, you're one of our members, isn't it, right, Hong Lee? Because you've been joining us for a fair time. I think you have subscribed to also of our packet. If you're not, consider joining us on our wealth building course, because that's the one that you get the 3-month subscription and also a direction where we'll be looking at. We got Aris in here for our masterclass member. Show Aris. Okay, we got the Astino. This one is pretty nice. You can see lots of low volume in here, holding up, forming what we call a pendant. So let's see which side is going to break out. Okay, this one's still okay. We got CITOS. CITOS is always well supported by smart money, as I said before in here. And today, finally green pentagon, right? Partly is because I do understand the secrets will be restored back to CITOS, so CITOS can run their business. And who knows, you can see volumes coming in, green pentagon right now when you have this real-time plug-in. Certainly a benefit for those of you who want to stay ahead from those people who want to take their time. Okay, I think it's important also for those of you who stay ahead. Taking a real time what you see in the stock in here will put you in favorable for those people who tend to look at the different time frame. Okay, let's look at we got Zen here on DNext. Oh, Hong Lee, you're not our member class yet. Okay, perhaps something one of those days you will decide to switch on to here. And I do hope that if you do find our package very, very beneficial to you, our show is very beneficial, definitely getting into our package will definitely even help you more. Something that worth looking into. All right, let's look at, we got Zen here on DNext. DNext again got green pentagon, but remember DNext has been really struggling to break above this 82 cents in here, right? Volumes here are pretty high, so it does look like another what we call a distribution in here. One line breakout coming back down here. Just be a bit careful in here. And remember, to me, DNext is already an old story already. Like it or not, it's always smart money using this kind of story to trap a lot of people in here. And if you looked at be very careful. At one point in time, it will break, but let it break through the 82 cents. Then only you want to go back in again, right? Then you can see whether this stock can go higher. If not, can be a very distribution in here. Okay, let's take a look at some of our public here and members. Okay, if there's no more questions or stock submission in here, we will end our breakfast show on Friday in here. Do join me tomorrow for our launch of our Trade VSA 360. That is the one that some of you may have seen it before, and of course for our existing member, this is definitely a big eye changer in here. And for those public who's been following me a fair bit in here, you may want to switch over to our Trade VSA 360 and you will completely see a lot of difference with that. All right, thank you for coming in here. I'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Bye bye.